Okay.
Hi, everyone. It's Guiding Stars for December. I'm Rose Marcus, and I'm here with the lovely Kristin Fontana. How are you today, Kristin?
Hi, Rose. Rose is recovering. We can hear it in her voice. It's that time of year. I'm so
Yes.
happy that you made it today so we could do our thing.
Oh, we can't not make sure that everybody knows what what to expect next.
Yeah, well, we need it too. This is our compass. And I love gathering with you every month, my friend, and sharing these insights with all of you listening. And it does help when we know what's coming, where we can, I don't know, just respond a little better to what's on our path and maximize those moments. So we're moving into holiday season here in the US. We've got Thanksgiving weekend and Christmas and Hanukkah next month. So there's a lot going on. Busy, busy, everybody. And I don't know about you, Rose, but when I was looking at December, it feels like a lot of growth.
Yeah, I think it's looking good. It really is. We're coming out of Mercury retrograde, which ends
Right.
on the 29th of November. And Mercury is has backed into the sign of Scorpio, and it's forming a lovely grand trine with Jupiter in Cancer and Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. And that grand trine is extending through the first 10 or 11 days of December. So we have a really nice energy to work with, a nice backdrop of the stars.
Yeah, I love the last week of November if you're listening to this show during that time, because we do have such powerful energy, but also opportunity energy with Jupiter being so big and a part of that. So Venus as well, right? Venus in Scorpio, and then it moves into Sag, which can lighten things up, thankfully. No, we all need to laugh a little at times, not forget to do that. So I'm looking forward to the shift into Sagittarius, some of the lighter energy following so much intensity this fall.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe I should put up our PowerPoint here.
I'm going to be carrying you today. I think, Rose, your voice.
I, my voice might not hold out for the duration here, but yeah. So here's our list of planetary changes over the month ahead. And we're just finishing, as we just said, the Mercury retrograde, the final retrograde, Mercury retrograde for the year. And on December 4th, we have a super full moon in Gemini. And this is to note, like last month's was the closest super full moon of this. We have four in a row. We have another super full moon in January. So we have three of them. When we have a super full moon, that means that the moon is closer to the Earth. So the Earth tides are stronger. So that's going to, pull in more energy, more emotion, more action that we will see. So whether you really notice the difference or not of a super full moon, first of all, it's a really beautiful sight if you have clarity when the super full moon occurs. But it's just going to dial up the intensity just a little bit more. So full moon in Gemini, on December 4th, new moon in Sag just before the Christmas, and December 21st is a new moon, and the 20th is and the solstice happens as well too. And I always think that that shift of energy, I always feel that ahead of time in that Christmas week. It's like all the running around, everything that you're doing is like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to chill out now.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right. Um, so as you can see on the slide here, that Neptune is going to station direct on the 10th, and we've got Mercury entering Sagittarius, Mars entering Capricorn, and Venus entering Capricorn, the relationship planets there. And of course, the sun's, Capricorn month as well too. And at the very end of the month, Juno enters Capricorn.
Right. Lot of direct energy coming.
Yeah, so let's look at the super full moon then on December 4th. And maybe you want to kick things off here, Kristin.
I was talking about growth. I mean, we're just coming through three planets moving direct. We've got Mercury stationing direct to, well, Wednesday, the 26th, and then Saturn as well, and Neptune to follow as once we move into December. What was the date? Was that the 8th? Neptune?
Neptune is, I think, the 10th.
The 10th.
10th.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it'll
yeah.
take us a bit to get there, but um so we've got the Mercury also needing to come out of its shadow. So it's not moving super fast yet on the way into December. So just make extra time for all of those things. But the reason why I mentioned growth is because at this super full moon, and full moons and super full moons are propelling energy. They're moving us into emotional waters. They're opening the gates so we can evolve. You're increasing our sensitivities. We're feeling more vulnerable. We're feeling more tender. And cry me a river, man. If you have if you cry yourself a river, it's probably a really good thing under this because this particular full moon, the moon is squaring the nodal axis. And in evolutionary astrology, that's a place on the path where there's a high degree of focus on anything that you've either been avoiding, not dealing with. Maybe you haven't been taking good care of your health and your well-being, and it's just bringing you right there to that focus or not dealing with certain emotions that have been um, set aside. And so everything is going to come up. We have also the sun, of course, because it's a full moon squaring the nodes on the other side. So this can be very much linked to your purpose, your life purpose, the path that you really know you are meant to travel and want to be able to travel. So I think that this square is really, I mean, it caught my attention in a big way. It's going to be emotional, but I feel like it will also be expansive. We cannot really grow and evolve unless we're in those waters and surrendering to them. That's the North Node in Pisces there. But I am happy to see that Mercury, which rules the south node, and it also rules the moon, the full moon in Gemini, is still trining Saturn. And so it's there's a grounding force within it. Like I could see us all thinking about a plan to move forward, right? Everything's coming up. So whether it's your work, your purpose, or your emotional reality at home, your family situation, there's an energy that supports a path and a plan moving forward. So I encourage you to take the time to work on the things that you know you could change right away on December 5th to change the tides for yourself. So those are some of the things that stood out to me.
Yeah, well, and as you pointed out, it is a super full moon in Gemini that's ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is the ruler of the South Node. So that's a lot of Mercury content. And when we see the luminaries in square to the nodal axis, this is a pivot point. It's a pivot point. And what I think about this, Gemini is information gathering. And the whole process here of this super full moon, and I think this is a process that, I mean, this is a super full moon for the moment, but I think it really is speaking to, because of the relationship to the nodes, this process that we've been in for a while. And this is all of that Pisces energy, the Saturn transit, the Neptune transit, that's finishing. Both of those planets are finishing off their time in that sign of Pisces. Pisces is all about the potentials, right? There's so many different potentials here. And of course, Pisces is an archetype that we get very confused about what potentials are real and what potentials are not real. Should I make this decision? Should I move in this direction? Is this going to pan out? Is this going to pan out? All of these kinds of variables that have been floating around with the the transing nodes moving through the Virgo Pisces axis since the beginning of the year. And they're going to continue. It's an 18-month cycle. And this lunation here is a pivot point in that whole process of exploring the potentials. And that whole south node in Virgo is about eliminating that which is not meant to go the distance. The weak doesn't survive here. So and I've been describing this to a lot of clients lately, the whole Pisces process, as a glass of fizzy water. I don't know if you have Soda Stream. I use Soda Stream. All is the bubbles in the water. The bubbles are going to come up and they're going to pop and they're going to disappear and they're going to come up and they're going to disappear. It's all these variables that are not to be viewed as a waste of time. I went down that track and it didn't pan out, or, I can see now why that's not going to work, or, why did I have to spend all of that time exploring that option if it wasn't going to be real enough to carry it forward, whatever that dynamic is. But I think that that's part of the Pisces process of working out all of those pieces, that you have to explore all of those variables before you can get onto track. And I think that, looking at this, the sun is pulling away, or the south node sun relationship is pulling away. And that is an elimination process of eliminating, those things that are maybe not quite, not quite. And the moon is pulling away from the north node, which is in Pisces, which is revelatory, right? So that is bringing in information that says, okay, well, that looks like it's starting to, have more potential. So I think that this is this speaks to kind of that larger, bigger process. And then, the Mercury position in trine to Jupiter, you see Mercury is up there at 22 degrees. And, over the next couple of days is going to hit 24, which is going to trine the Jupiter. And then it's going to hit 25, which is going to hit trine the Saturn. And then it's going to go up to 29 and hit that Neptune before moving out of the element of water. So this is extending that whole process. And Mercury in Scorpio. Scorpio is an archetype of peeling it back layer by layer, right? Of getting down to what is most potent, what is most valid, what is most useful here. And this is aligning with that, trying to bring that into focus. That's what Scorpio does. It zeroes in on things. So I think there's a lot going on with this super full moon. And, looking at the chart here, Mars is sitting there at 22 degrees. It is squaring Saturn, and then it's going to square Neptune. It's all like all of the planets are working to orchestrate this kind of bigger picture thing. Some of it can be very subtle. It's an inner process that you're going through. It's all your own personal working it out. Maybe you're not seeing that in terms of external circumstances. Maybe you are. Maybe these are, Moon and Gemini, the conversation that we have, the synchronicity of that particular activity or moment, or that coming together, however it comes together. I think there's a lot of subtlety and potency and exquisiteness in how this is orchestrating.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to draw, I wish I would have drawn the full grand trine in green there. With the Jupiter trining Saturn, of course, completing a grand trine with Mercury. That's extended. We're having this toward the end of November, and it comes forward into December because of the retrograde of Mercury stopping and then having to recover its steps. You're getting an extended grand trine in water. I loved your example with the fizzies, the carbonation and things going pop, pop, pop. And what the pop, pop, pop does is it clears the way for the things that aren't going to work for you, right? It just it dissolves. That's such a Pisces word. Dissipates and dissolves. What can't hold water will dissipate and dissolve. I came across this wonderful quote. Matt Cook is his name, and he wrote a book that just came out called Beyond Wanting. It's a manifestation book. It's a wonderful book. And one of the quotes I just noted was, "A soul who trusts the unknown pulls miracles from thin air."
Oh, I love that.
Isn't that so good?
Oh, yeah.
Um, anyway, the whole, it's just a mindset shift, the whole book shift, that was shift, a mindset shift, this whole book, one-liners that just allow you to adjust your frequency, that South Node in Virgo that is squaring the moon and the sun. It's important that we recognize where we can clear our own frequency or open ourselves up to that miracle. And it does involve and demand that you trust yourself, that you protect your energy in a way too, that you don't give it all away with this Pisces influence. We want to be very have good boundaries with where we're giving and what we're open to, but this is just high on receptivity. It's high on a divine intervention. It is loaded, loaded potential for miracles. So, and I don't mean to get woo-woo on this with everybody, but you have to seal a preponderance of water in order for those miracles to happen, or what feels like a miracle for you to happen. Whether it's a healing that you're praying for, or just an experience of elevation you need in your life, or just being able to create an inner reality where you can feel joy for no reason at all, no reason at all. And so these are really important energies right now. And also with Saturn and Neptune sextiling Uranus, Uranus is your nervous system. It's your vibrational frequency. So it's the signal that you send out to the world. And it is allowing this to be clear, very clear. So you want to energize what you want them to receive, right? What you want the world to receive, not what you don't want to be sending out. It's a very powerful time.
Oh, yeah, it's great. I love those quotes. Yeah, and pay attention to your downloads, because you're
Absolutely.
going to be getting messages here. Yeah. All right. So, and just while I'm on things, that full moon, it is the 6th of December when Mercury is trining Jupiter, and on the 7th it is trining Saturn, and then by the 8th that Mars and Saturn are in square, which is, some squares added to trines are dynamic, so they
Yeah.
energize, right? So they put some energy together here.
Hey,
So.
Rose, could you go back to the full moon? There's one more thing I want to add. I feel like it's important. Um, in the spirit of keeping things light and or just making the most of the energies at hand, Venus in Sagittarius here is forming a sextile to Pluto, and it's called a last quarter sextile. In evolutionary astrology, that's Venus is like it's closing in on that Pluto. You're approaching a culminating cycle. And the way to understand this is that your relationships to yourself, to others, have an opportunity to go through a transformation. So if they aren't relationships that you feel like are leading you forward, there can be, I don't necessarily see this as an ending to relationships, but definitely more awareness, objectivity. What can we change to make this relationship, work better? Are we on the same page? So it's a very supportive aspect for getting back into alignment with the people that you love. And that takes both sides being objective. What can we change or adjust? So I just love that aspect within the full moon, because for relationships to evolve, it almost always requires change and, of course, an open, objective ability to look at what you're in the middle of and what you're bringing to that space. So I
And
love.
on that point, Venus at 5 and Pluto at 1, it's already surpassed the exact, sextile
Sextile.
there of that. So that Venus is already on this shift of evaluating in some different way. What I always say about the last quarter, is, the kind of the advice is this is the old way of doing things, or this is the old decisions that I would make. What would the new me want? And so that Venus is already oriented to relating and evaluating in the new format way, which is exactly what the illumination of the full moon is bringing. It's Gemini. How else could we see this or do this or relate to this or connect with this?
And just to believe in the best that you have to bring in any space or situation, your work, believe in yourself, trust yourself. Remember, you can pull miracles from thin air, as he says. I love that. So, and
Yeah.
it's just vibration or it's just energy. When you believe in yourself, when you trust a process, when you open up your own field of energy, then things can naturally move into that space. And the unrealized potential that you always talk about, Rose, when we look at Neptune and Pisces and Saturn and Pisces, both retrograde, this is an opportunity to recover more of your potential on the path, in relationships, etc.
hmm
Okay.
And just on the Gemini as well too, we've got two tracks that are running, the actual and the energy of that, as you've talked about. It's the energy, it's the frequency, it's the vibration, it's the nervous system. How can you put the two of those together, because those are going to be bringing you information, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So on to the new moon, which we have here on December 19. And take it away, Kristin.
Um,
Yeah.
All right, I'll give you a break there. I love all the Sag. I can't help but love all the Sag. We've got the sun and the moon in a new phase, new moon in Sagittarius. Venus is also close by behind, and Mercury is also in Sagittarius there. You can say that Venus is conjunct this new moon. It's within 4 degrees. So it brings just more love, more energy, more um, an ability for you to bring your frequency higher, your vibrational frequency, your optimism as well. Mercury in Sag is squaring the nodes. And so here's another square to the nodal axis now. And, you know, I feel like when I see Mercury square the nodes in Sag wants full freedom all the time, full throttle, doesn't want to have to wait. And so I do feel like there's something that you may have to wait for. Like during this new moon, there may be an opportunity that comes up or something that you really feel like you want to pursue, but you can see that you may have to wait for it. Um, and we've got the ruler of Sagittarius being Jupiter, which is retrograde in Cancer. So let's say, for example, you decide that you and your family want to move or sell the house, but it's winter, at least in our neck of the woods, and not a good time to sell the house. So maybe you're making plans, and you'd love to leave tomorrow, but you can't. You have to wait. So I see that skip step being the new visions for the future and exciting about where you might want to travel or move. Travel is another great one. I want to say you want to take a trip next year, but you're going to have to wait for it. That is the Mercury square the nodes. It's a planning aspect. How do you see that?
Oh, I love that, a planning aspect. Yeah. I just think that this new moon is 28 degrees, so it's getting almost to the end of Sagittarius. And the sun and moon have surpassed the square to Saturn. They're still working their way to squaring Neptune, and they are in conjunct Uranus. I think this is one of my statements of almost, but not quite. You know, I'm almost on to the next, but I'm not quite there. There's some finishing off. It's a sense of moving forward. And of course, Sagittarius is future bound and future looking. So it's looking ahead. Might already be thinking about the new year, but there's still the end of the year to get through. There's still the holidays to get through. I'm kind of done here, and I'm
Yeah, totally.
looking to move forward. I think
Yeah,
that that's what this transit is representing.
there's a lot of impatience with it for sure, because this is supposed to be an in conjunct. Uranus is in conjunct the new moon. Um, but still a stressful aspect, like an opposition, if you're not um, aware of the term. It's a new moon under stress to Uranus says, I'm feeling restless. I can't do this anymore. Maybe it's the job. I can't do this one more day. I can't wait till next year when this happens or that happens, so there's a restlessness about it. But also an excitement, I feel, because Uranus is sextiling Neptune, which is about the dreams you're having. Um, the better world in your imagination that you would like to create for yourself. And Uranus is sextiling Saturn, so it's feeling realistic. It's not so pie in the sky. It's something realistic because of the Neptune and Saturn transiting together, these two. I feel like they're influencing each other. You know, Neptune is influencing Saturn. It's like, hey, Saturn, why don't you dream a little bit, loosen up. And Saturn's saying to Neptune, I'll dream a little more, but I want a plan. We need a plan. We need to, and so Neptune needs some of that too, some structure. So even though they're the absolute odd couple in the solar system, they're like complete opposites. I do feel like they're helping each other, thus helping us dream realistically, like having dreams that can happen, that can manifest. And so I think there's an excitement which creates the restlessness. We can't get there fast enough feeling.
Yeah, I feel like this is on the way to the destination, but not quite there yet. And, there's also, too, I think the holidays and Christmas can be very complicated emotionally for folks. If you have a lot of family, to tend to, you can feel that sense of that duty and obligation piece of it. Maybe you're excited to reconnect with family, but there's the work and obligation end of it, and then there's the joy of being together. Or again, that things are different now, that today's reality is different than yesterday's reality and different than tomorrow's reality as well too, especially if you are missing people who are no longer with you, or maybe your holidays are more isolated and alone. There's so many different levels to the way that we move through the holidays, but the excitement is there, the joy. Sagittarius is about finding the joy and all of that too. But I think that this is also speaking that chafing with the Uranus piece there is, I have to get through this first before I can get on to that, which is I have to finish off the year before I can get on to the plans for the future.
Speaking of joy, just a client of mine said she's bought this book for everyone that well she's ever wanted to give a gift to. It's called The Book of Joy, Lasting Happiness in a Changing World, and it's the Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu. And I've been reading some of it, and it's large print. I love it with my, but I don't even need my readers. But it's they teach you how to find joy in a difficult world. And there's a lot of suffering in this world. These guys are friends. They come together, and so a wonderful gift for somebody if you feel like they need to find some joy in the simple things, or maybe yourself. I mean, I'm getting a lot out of it. Thinking of we instead of I, right? Just immediately when you do that, you're opening your arms to more. So anyway, yeah, we like to feel good, the Sagittarius month, especially. So
Yeah. And
element.
here we are just after the new moon is the solstice, right? Yeah, so, the sun moving into Capricorn here, having surpassed the squares, having surpassed that new moon. Venus is on the move along here, just surpassed Saturn, but yet to hit that Neptune. Um, and like I said at the start of our show today, this is when I always feel that shift of, okay, enough with all the extras and the running around. I just want to park it for a while. Right. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So at the time of the solstice, for those of us in the northern hemisphere, of course, that is the shortest day of the year. And it is a time for introspection, and we start to think ahead to planning for the new year, and intention setting for the new year. Oh my goodness, I just noticed this. Well, actually, this is the solstice, and solstice happens in the morning when the sun enters into Capricorn. I just noticed that on this screen here, the moon, which moves very fast, is sitting at 17 degrees of Capricorn. And I think it's the 7th or 8th of January. There will be an alignment of Mars and Venus and the Sun at 17 degrees of
Wow.
Capricorn. And,
Mhm.
you can see Venus is sitting here in Sagittarius, 26 degrees on the screen, and Mars is sitting at 4 Capricorn. So Venus has further to do to get into Capricorn and move along. But it's interesting because Venus and Mars are um, um, uh, completing a cycle. They're a 2-year transit. And we've been in that last quarter that you mentioned earlier in the show here. Since about August, September, the Venus Mars phasal relationship has been last quarter. And so this is a point of um, shifting gears in terms of relationship dynamics. And relationship dynamics, as I said many times in many of our shows, me to me, me to you, me to us, right? And it's the whole dynamic here. That's moving into Capricorn. Capricorn deals with the reality as it exists for you, the priorities. It is how you're manifesting in the world, and it can have to do with career focus or anything that falls under the Capricorn banner of my personal authority and how I am manifesting and what my obligations are to myself, or how I'm authenticating what I need for my own journey, and so forth. I mean, we'll talk about this as we get to the new year and so forth. But I was just noting that Venus and Mars at this point in the chart are finishing off. They've been moving through last quarter and balsamic since the fall, right? And that balsamic is the ending pattern of that. So this may be a time as we come to this a solstice, that it's a very potent time of bringing the past to completion and seeding for the future. And as we know that 2026 is a global reset year with Saturn and Neptune coming together on the 20th, 21st of February to start a new 36-year cycle. So this is a very potent completion and seeding time, I think.
Absolutely. One thing I really love about with Mars shifting into Capricorn at the solstice, well, right before the solstice, but it's about 7 degrees away from the nodes. But by the end of December, Mars makes very supportive angles to the nodal axis, productive energy, I would say, right? There's a lot of traction you might be getting, even though we do still have Neptune and Saturn and Pisces, and them not being in a new phase and a clear way forward till 20th and 21st of February, there's still some unknown going on here and fog and uncertainty about the future. Um, but this Mars and Capricorn transit, Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, which is in that pairing with Neptune. I do feel like there's more evidence, or there's something tangible that you're experiencing that it's giving you more confidence about progress and something you're working towards. So I do love that transit to finish 2025. Mars trining the South Node, sextiling the North Node. Very strong way to close the year.
Oh, that's excellent to bring that up. And of course, Capricorn is an archetype of solidifying or cementing, and that's just at the very start of it, right? There's still
Yeah.
further to go. Mars is what they call exalted in the sign of Capricorn. It's very well placed in that sign, right? So awesome. Okay.
I like January 2026 this year.
Yeah,
All
me
about
too.
Capricorn. Yeah, it looks good.
Me too. Yeah. What have we got here? Christmas Day. So what's it looking like for Christmas Day, Kristen?
Well, well, it looks fiery for sure. We got Sun conjunct Mars and Capricorn. But Venus is in the background trying to soften things a little bit. Um, so I do love that the moon is in Pisces on the North Node, forming a supportive aspect to Mars. That helps a lot. It does feel sensitive. It does feel uh, again, so much Pisces, especially with the moon on the North Node, just feels more emotional to me than Christmases that I remember in terms of the transits. but that's good. You know, it's a good thing to really be caring about the things that are more timeless and which, the love you share with the ones in your life. This is the focus. It will be there on that day. And if it's not there, it will be felt. So I do love the emotion around the day in that way. But depending on what's going on in your life, it could be um, if there's things that you're not talking about or dealing with, it can be a little triggering on this day.
Yeah, well, I think of Pisces as immersive, and I'll
Yeah.
say, be wherever you are, sink into it, be into it. Mercury at 19 degrees of Sagittarius is in conjunct Jupiter, and that Mercury piece, I think, is a little bit of expectations, and I think that this is all the issue sometimes with Christmas is this high expectation, right? That it's going to be whatever you envision it to be. And I say, let that go and just, immerse yourself in the moment and allow yourself to be wherever you are without the expectations. With Moon and Pisces, I think the day despite, the Mars Sun thing there, I think it could be quiet, the day could kind of evaporate before you know it, and I think that's the holidays as well, too. It's a big buildup and then all of a sudden it's gone, right?
It's like
Uh,
that.
yeah, so I think we can navigate this too well. Just manage your expectations and chill out.
Yes, take it slow.
Take it slow.
What is that expression? Joy is an inside job.
Yeah, I love that. Great. Do we have other things here? Oh, yes.
I do have a quote. I do have something to share, but I can share it after this. There's a free live watch party on Sunday, December 7th at 10 a.m. Pacific. It's the third part of a 5-hour workshop that Jeffrey Wolf Green taught. It's fantastic. We've been coming together just in community with people all over the world. So if you want to be there to participate, you just need to sign up on the website so they have your email and can let you in. And the website is jwgaea.org. If you want to join us, it'll probably be a couple hours. And we'll do some teaching at the end of the workshop if there's any questions during the class. So
and
I'll
that
see you.
we'll put a link down below our podcast
Okay,
video for
perfect.
you as well, too, right? Yeah. All right. And we would love to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy Hanukkah. But before we do that, Kristin, I want to wish you a happy birthday, my
Oh
Sag
my gosh.
friend.
It's a big one this year. We won't say how big, but yeah, thank you.
Well, I
Um,
hope you have a beautiful day.
I was actually due on Christmas Day.
Oh.
And I'm a twin and we were 3 weeks early. So I'm happy I was not born on Christmas Day. That doesn't sound like a lot of fun. But sorry for somebody who has been. It's just, all
Yeah.
right. So I wanted to share something to close the show from Prophetess Shalon Harkin. And this month it's on prayer. Pray prayers of thanks for the mountains, for the rivers, for the roundness of the moon, just because they're here at all, and because you get to know them. Your body is a temple where your consciousness goes to pray. So pray fully, pray vulnerably, risk everything with your prayers. To pray is to plug our longing into the universe's love. You have permission to reform your relationship with prayer until it truly nourishes you. You no longer have to pray as you were. Excuse me. You no longer have to pray as you were taught. Drink dark chocolate and let the moon sing to you. Let the ancestors dance through your hips at the slightest provocation. Go to the river and howl your ancient pain into the current. Ache, desire, say yes to your longing. You no longer have to pray as you were taught. but as the stars crawl onto your lap like soft animals at nighttime, and God tucks your hair behind your ears with the gentle fingers of her wind, and a new intimacy is uncovered in everything, perhaps you'll realize you're finally learning how to pray.
Terrific.
I got the chills.
Yeah,
So,
me too.
yeah, a new way to pray. I think that's Neptune retrograded with Saturn in Pisces, sextiling Uranus. We can connect with the universe, with God, with spirit, with creator, the God, goddess, in any which way we please. There are many ways to do that. And so I encourage you to relax and retreat and receive.
Fabulous. That's
Namaste.
it for us.